So sadly, 3 people have died at this shooting at an Islamic center in San Diego. And it's just horribly tragic, obviously. But it's got me thinking, and it's got me reflecting on this moment because, first and foremost, this is an incident 10, 20 years ago that would have probably had headlines for, I don't know, at least a week. We'd be talking about it, we'd be talking about guns and gun reform. And now this is something that will likely be forgotten about by tomorrow, maybe later today, maybe within the hour, because we're just overloaded with everything. And it's really sad because those poor families deserve our attention and they're not going to get it because of everything that's going on in the world and everything that's being inflicted on us. And you have to wonder, are we ever going to reach a breaking point, especially with leadership? We've got some heroic people around the country doing some, great things in terms of nonviolent resistance, but we haven't seen any sort of national movements in that regard. None of our leaders are stepping up. Even, I got to say, many of the very progressive leaders that, we would align with. And it was great to see like Bernie and AOC doing tours at some point. But the reality is they're all just still playing politics. And we're at a moment that's much bigger than that. And I don't know what it's going to take for us to realize that. It's just gotten so incredibly violent, incredibly hateful. The world is on fire. And it's not entirely Trump's fault. This was a world that was built for us. This was a country that was built on violence and slavery and exploitation. But, it felt like there was real progress being made for some time there. And that's just disappeared. And this is exactly how, the giant Cheeto wants us to live. He wants this violent hellscape, this mess of information where nobody can keep track of anything. I get on here every day and I try to speak truth, obviously, and lay out the information, the facts, give my opinions. But we do need more. And I know a lot of us have been out there protesting. We've been doing as much as we can, but we're still missing something, and that's intentional. That's what they've done to us. We're all numb. Everybody is numb in this country, and there doesn't seem to be enough energy to fight back. Yeah, we're going to try to drum up energy for this election, and that's great. And, maybe the Democrats win the House, but what does that do? What does that change? Maybe they even get a slight majority in the Senate, but it's not filibuster proof. They've shown before that they've cast 99 votes for someone like Marco Rubio. So I don't know what we can expect from that. It's going to take something more, something, some kind of generational leadership. And I have faith in, especially my generation, millennials, that we will ultimately produce that, but how long will it take? At what expense? How many people will be hurt before we do? I don't know. I'm tired. I'm a parent, struggling, just trying to pay the bills, like all of you. And here we are in this moment. So, I don't know why I made this video. I don't really have an intent here. Just kind of venting. But let me know if you feel the same way. And what do you make of it? What should we do going forward? Thanks.